Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Man's Compass with David
and Justin. This is a great podcast, guys. It's a podcast navigating life, faith, and everything in between. A conversation where anything goes. You never know what we're going to talk about. There's no telling. But we always try to keep God in it and keep God involved.
And we're glad you're here.
What's going on, folks? Glad to have y'all with us again today. We have got some odd, interesting news today and some fun stuff to talk about, of course. You know, we like to chit-chat and have fun, but oddly enough, David.
What up?
What's up, bro? Venezuela.
Right?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a madhouse.
Oh.
It's interesting.
It is. That's, I'm happy about it. I know the Venezuelan folks, from what I've seen all over the news, are happy about it. I even saw a clip where a young lady that was here that's from Venezuela was talking, and there were some people out protesting. I do believe some liberals, obviously. And
right.
They were out protesting on it. And she was at the protest, but she was like, I'm not here for them. Like, I'm here trying to explain to these people that you've never been there. You don't know. Like, she said, if I remember right, she said, you don't know what it's like to live in a communist, socialist country. And that she is so happy that what happened, and that country is getting a taste of freedom.
It is funny that you look at all the protests, and it's like, where are the Venezuelan people? Why aren't they protesting?
Yeah, it's because they're happy that he got arrested.
Oh, that's right.
Or kidnapped, however you want to say that.
They're celebrating on the other side.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's funny that people don't have a reason to be offended are offended. Does that make sense?
Right.
You don't live over there. You have nothing to do with the thing that's going on over there, but you're offended by it. You're offended for these people that aren't even offended.
When you're paid to be offended, you have a reason to be offended.
You know, that's
I mean,
yeah.
What I find is so funny is Trump's presidency the first time.
Okay.
They're all like, "You need to get this guy. You need to get this guy."
Yep.
And they put a bounty on him.
Yeah.
Put him on, World's Most Wanted or whatever it's called. And then Biden comes in and he doubles it pretty much. He doubles.
I didn't know any of this information.
And then Trump gets back in there, and their leader, minority leader, Schumer,
however you say his name.
Schumer, yeah, because he always makes me laugh.
Yeah, you talking about Chuck Schumer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, Mr. President, what are you going to do? So it got to like 50,000 or something. It was a big number. And then Trump does it, and they're the first to be like, well, he didn't come to Congress. He's like, yeah, I also didn't make a press conference and say, hey, guess what I'm going to do in the middle of the night.
Right.
But they're looking at it as this is... they're wanting it to be Afghanistan or Iraq. Like,
right.
They're wanting a war. And he's like, it's not a war. I took a drug dealer out of service. And now he's been read his rights. He's going to court.
And I looked up that number. Yes, the U.S. Department of State had a $50 million bounty for information leading to the capture and conviction of the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. I didn't know that they had put a bounty on him.
Oh,
bro.
yeah. And I think it started off at like 15 million.
Yeah, jeez. Well, either way, I think it's awesome.
I think Trump should go to Congress and be like, y'all owe me some money. I got him. And
yes.
And knowing Trump, he would probably take that money and split it with all of the people that were there.
Well, now hear me out. The cool thing is, speaking of Trump and money, so when he arrested the Venezuelan president, well, I say he did. He's not the physical person that did, but he's the one that dropped the hammer and said, hey, we're doing this, But anyways, when all that happened, they ended up seizing, I don't know how many barrels. It's a lot of oil. Like a lot of barrels of oil.
yeah.
He seized it, and what he's doing with it is he's actually putting it on the market, and instead of selling it at a discount price,
Market value.
like he's selling it at market value, and he's returning that money to the Venezuelan people.
Well, in a way.
He's gonna give some of it to us because you can't work for free. But I say to us, I'm not getting any money out of it. But you know what I mean.
What he's going to do is he's going to invest that money into Venezuela.
Yes,
he's going to rebuild the oil,
essentially
the oil companies that were ours at first. I know some people don't know this. They think that we're just taking over people's stuff, and it's like, no. When communists took over, when Chavez took over, they took over our stuff and then put people that didn't know what they were doing because everyone works for the government. Well, no one knew what they were doing. And so they went from being a really wealthy nation, doing really good. Like, from what I was told, they have more oil and more resources than Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you can correct me, or the audience can correct me. But if I'm not mistaken, China was buying, what was it, like 80% of their oil, or some crazy number like that,
China
from
Russia,
Venezuela.
There was a couple others,
and now they can't.
Well, and
at least not at a discount price.
That's the main reason that we seized that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it closes a door.
Right.
Yeah. Which not that we want China. I don't know what Trump wants. I don't want to speak for Trump. I don't want to speak for Congress. But I am going to say I don't want China to fall as a nation. I don't want that. That's not what I want. I don't want anybody to go through hard times. But I don't want you to be able to hurt my country either.
Right.
You
and
know
that's why this night was so important. By taking, like, he wasn't
America first.
He wasn't in some bunker. He was in a fort. Like, he was in.
Yeah, I watched a deal. They were talking about his. He was like literally heading to, or they were concerned he was going to get into what is it called, a safe room or whatever.
Yes.
And they managed to get there before he did, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But they got him and his wife, and him and his wife are both standing trial, which I think's interesting. I expected him. I've never heard of somebody and their wife going to trial. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it makes you wonder because the CIA's been there for a long time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Longer than we know.
I'm sure.
Or will probably ever know. But
right, yeah,
But you can't be
redacted documents and such.
You can't have that kind of an enterprise without your wife knowing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm with you. She's got to know something.
It makes you wonder if they're going to try to get her to switch on them. Be a classic movie move.
Well, I know. He seems to be pretty cocky. He was cocky. He went on. I'm going to say the news, but he went on and he was like, he was calling us cowards, and he was like, "Come and get me if you dare," blah blah blah, and so.
And Trump just smiled and said, "There's my example."
Yeah, said, "All right, let's go." So we got him, and then whenever we got him to the United States, he was essentially being perp walked, essentially, and they were walking him down a hallway. And he even was like, "Happy New Year," And I'm like, "You are a cocky dude. Do you not know what you're about to go through? Like, when this is over, you may not see the light of day for a long time." Seriously?
My conspiracy mind goes, is he that cocky because he has people in our government that has his back? And I don't know. But
I don't either, but I would sure hope not.
But I do think it's funny.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Who's ranting and raving about it, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, so all our enemies are really mad that we did this, but we also have a certain party in our government that's really mad. And it's like, just last week you were saying, get the guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he called us out.
I'll say this. I really think it's because Trump did it.
Oh, yeah.
I have noticed that no matter what Trump does, no matter what he does,
That man,
he's in trouble.
That man
There's
could find
video-
a cure of cancer, and they're going to be like, well, cancer cells matter.
Yeah, cancer cells matter. Hate Trump for curing cancer. I'm serious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a video of Joe Biden from God knows how long ago, because it's funny too, because you go way far back and he's still missing a bunch of hair and looks old, but he was young in the video, and he's up there and he's like I think we need to go get these cartel members and start. He was calling for blowing up boats. So Trump does it now, and now everybody's like, no. Nobody complained when he was saying to do it. Now he didn't do it.
He was saying that during campaign.
I know.
It's a whole different.
Well, absolutely, but still,
free pizza for everybody.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but still, it just frustrates me because it just furthers my notion of they're only mad because Trump did it, and that's so stupid.
But like I said, it sent it screamed a message to everyone else.
Yeah,
you know, everyone else is listening now.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's paying attention.
Like I played chess for a second, and I had your king.
Yeah, I think about it like Nicolas Maduro was playing checkers and Trump was playing chess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, Nicolas Maduro wasn't playing with a full deck when he made that statement, huh?
But
let me just tell one of the strongest countries in the world that they ain't got nothing, because that's going to work out in your favor. You know, with your jets that are significantly outdated.
And I love how calm that like the administration was like, yeah, we got them. And Cuba, we know you had guys over there too. Watch your step. You know, and it's like, whoa.
Well, and he's even talking about, and I don't know the decisions on it. I don't know anything yet, but I could probably look into it a little further and get some answers. But Trump, I think, was even discussing, like, he keeps kicking around the idea of stepping into Mexico and like shutting the cartel down, and I'm all for that. Like, I think that would help our country out. I think it would help Mexico out.
Well, and he's in direct contact with their leader, and he keeps asking her, like, do you want
by leader, the president, by the way,
right?
Just so we can clarify for our audience, he's not saying the leader of the cartel.
No,
he's saying the president of Mexico.
But Trump did say that
he talked to her.
She's trying to run the country, and she thinks she's running it, but the cartel are.
Yeah,
and then he's like, I'm losing patience.
Well, and he's even said that she's a sweet lady, and you know, he does seem to like her. He doesn't seem to have any issues with her, but I do understand where he's coming from.
And he's not talking smack about her. He's like, she just needs help, and she's prideful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm about to just go in there and do what I need to do.
Yeah,
and she can thank me later.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's funny too, as far as doing what you need to do. I don't know if you heard about the tankers meeting in the middle of the ocean.
I think they were fishing. They were out there fishing.
Oh yeah, in tankers. So apparently, I do believe it was Iran or Iran, however you say that, and China. They have been taking tankers out there and meeting up and selling oil. Selling oil to each other, or I don't remember which one is selling oil to who, but I bet it's Iran selling oil to China, because China doesn't really have oil.
I just can't.
But what they're doing is they're taking like nets and stuff and hanging them over the side of the boat, so you can't see the number on the boat and you can't see the name.
They're fishing,
and they're parking right next to each other. Well, they got caught. They've been seen. They're being monitored. But they're trying to go around the sanctions. They're trying to do it to get out of having to do all these sanctions and still be able to. And it's just so dumb.
I cannot believe that you think Iran would ever go against a sanction.
Oh, I know.
Because I mean, they were.
I'm sorry, I can't say it with a straight face.
Yeah. And you know, I don't, like you said, I don't wish ill on anybody, but it's like, we finally have an administration that's like, we're tired of slapping your hand and saying, no.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and see,
Daddy's got the belt.
Well, and it's funny, too, because the U.S. has recently intensified enforcement actions and even seized several tankers involved in related sanction evasions. Says here, some with links to both Iran and China. Like, it's so crazy, dude. And they're calling it the Dark Fleet Operation. And they're trying to evade the U.S. sanctions. And it's so dumb.
So are you saying America's becoming the new Buccaneers / pirates?
Right, yeah.
And I mean, we need it. Like, we're going to go, if we see you out hanging out, we're going to take your stuff and say, don't do it again.
That's terrible. That's like the hall monitor.
Right.
I think it's important that we're America first. And I think that's what we're getting back to. Is America first, and we haven't been America first in a long time.
Right.
And we should be America first. We've been America second and fourth and 26th, and we're helping everybody but ourselves. And then while we're helping everybody but ourselves, super prideful and greedy, people in Congress and government have just been lining their pockets. And I'm like, bro, we're already bleeding, And so I'm excited to see the turn we've been making. It's working.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
And it's one of those things like when the parents leave and the oldest kid is in charge of the other kids and it's mayhem and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the parents come home, everyone gets disciplined.
Yep.
And then things go back to normal. I feel like that's where our country's at now. Like the adults are back in the room. The adults are running things.
Yeah.
It's a little painful. Not a lot of people are groaning about like, oh, I guess I got to clean my mess up now.
Right. Yeah.
But it will get back to a normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope it does. I hope people start waking up and like, why am I so angry? Like, there's so many people out there that's angry. And it seems like every time someone gets mad, there's a camera. And it's like, not all of us are mad.
Yeah.
Like out here, I know people that hang on the left and they're not this angry. They're not this, They're just like, yeah, I don't like the guy. I do like I can go to the grocery store now.
It makes me think of something. I'm going to shoot from the hip here.
Ow.
With ICE going through and arresting people, I'm and deporting people. I'm super happy about that. And they've been posting who's getting arrested and deported and why. And there's drug trafficking, sexual assault. There's rape. There's all kinds of terrible things, and they're just putting them up there. And there's so many people that are mad. ICE is coming in here and blah blah blah. And there was one, I want to say it was a mayor or a chief of police or somebody that was calling them fake law. And I have to stick with the guy I heard talking earlier, who I do believe is a member of ICE or Immigration Control, one of the two. And I put him in the same boat, in my mind, it's same. But he said that somebody was complaining to him and saying, "No, you're just trying to be a tough guy. You think you're a tough guy? You're just acting like a tough guy." And he said, "Well, if putting away rapists and murderers and drug traffickers makes me a tough guy, because they're coming in my country illegally and bringing this stuff in here, yeah, I'll be your tough guy."
Right.
And I agree with that.
Well, and it's like that woman. I heard that she got shot. They killed her. And from the first story I heard, that she was driving away. And I was like, man, that's not cool. And then I saw the clip. The ICE was telling her, you're in the way. You need to back up. And she turned her tires and was darting towards him.
I don't know that he was telling her to back up. I think they were trying to stop her.
Yeah.
I think. But either way, yeah, she turned her tires, and there's so many people that were like, he just stood there. She should have stopped. You have officers telling you, stop.
Right. And I was going to play the devil's advocate and be like, maybe she panicked, and then I found out that this is happening all over America, and it's happening, it's becoming the protest protocol is ramming your car into ICE agents.
There's one guy, excuse me, there's one guy that got arrested who's a civilian of America. Like, he's a citizen of America. Yeah. You know why he got arrested? They were, I do believe, at a Home Depot, and I don't care how that sounds. It's the story. They were at a Home Depot, I do believe, and they were basically doing a raid, and there's people running all over the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
And they're arresting people, and that they know to be illegals, and they're arresting them, and they're trying to get them, and this one dude goes over there and just starts slashing the tires on that ICE vehicle. And they saw him, so they try to stop him, and he starts trying to fight back, and they're like, and they said that his wife was screaming, he's a citizen, he's a citizen. And they said, well, he stabbed our tires, so now he's going with...
knife.
Yeah, he stabbed our tires, so now he's going with us.
Right.
Sorry about your luck. And so he starts fighting back, so they had to mace him. Yeah, pepper spray him. Well, and they showed a picture of him, his face covered in that stuff, and they're like, sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
Why did you get in the middle of it? If you didn't want to get arrested, why did you get involved?
And that's what I don't understand is people are saying, I'm a citizen. They're international crime. What does I stand for?
I don't remember.
I know it's international.
Yeah, it's something like that.
They don't have a border. They go wherever.
Yeah.
And it's like
well, and it reminds me of a video I saw one time. Yeah, my wife likes watching those cop shows all the time, and seeing, the cameras that follow around the police officers everywhere.
Right.
And there's one of them, there's this officer, and down here where we're at, we would call him a state trooper. And I think that's kind of what he was. And he's a pretty fit dude. Like, he's pretty cut. You might think twice about talking smack to him. And he's got this guy pulled over, and he's talking to him. And this guy goes stomping by, walking. And he's like, why don't you leave people alone? Can't you see they're just trying to do blah, blah, blah? And he goes, you know what? And tells the person in the car, here's your license. Don't worry about it. You go away and have a good day. Well, then he goes walking after that guy and says, come here. And the guy goes, what? And he said, no, come here. You wanted my attention. You have my attention. Let's talk. and the dude's like scared because he's like, oh no. Yeah. Oh no. And he's like, yeah, you wanted my attention. I'm here to talk. He's like, well, I was just saying. He said, yeah, what were you saying? Because you felt it so necessary to impede my investigation there and get my attention. There must be something super important. So what's so important? And he pretty well, he didn't arrest the guy or anything.
No, but he did walk into the car and say, what's that say? It says state police.
That's exactly what he did. You saw it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. He's like, what does that say right there?
I think my favorite video of a cop, it was a state trooper, and it was upstate. And he pulled this guy over. He was speeding. And the guy's just yelling and screaming at him like, do you have nothing else to do with your life? And this and the cop's just great cop. Like, he should get a medal because he was just calm. And he wrote out the letter, and he's explaining to him what court and what time. The guy's like, I don't care. Just give it to me. And the cop said, handed him his license, handed him the ticket. And the guy ripped it up and threw it on the ground. He said, sir, if you do not get out of your vehicle and pick this up, I'm going to give you another ticket for littering. And the guy gets out, and I mean, he's just cussing and screaming, spitting and steaming, and he's out there picking it up. You're just happy, aren't you? He said, have a nice day, sir. But that cop, the whole time, was calm. And I'm like, we need more of that. Because I would accidentally slip on the ice and hit him in the throat. Like, I'm sorry, I slipped. Now, what were you saying,
what
sir?
What is it they say? Don't mistake my kindness for weakness.
I know when I got out of the military, everyone's like, oh, well, you were a police in the military. Why don't you a police out here? I'm like, I would go to jail the second day.
It's a different world.
Yeah. Military police is completely different than local police. Hats off to them, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Some little punk kid yelling and screaming, blowing smoke in my face. Well, my computer. Camera malfunction. Come here.
Dude, I tell you what, man, life is just insane. This is the world we live in today is just ridiculous. And speaking of ridiculous, I tell you what, I've got some interesting stories about my life, I tell you. So I don't know if the viewers have heard this before, but I used to train horses.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know that.
What was her name?
Right, yeah. Now, I wasn't no famous, huge horse trainer. I just kind of did it on the side a little bit, you know. Nothing crazy. But I've done my fair share of fun. Had a few horses try to kill me.
You weren't scared of them?
No.
I'm petrified of them.
I know.
It's because of you.
Yeah, well, that's the only horse you ever fell off of. I put this dude on a horse one time that I owned, and
With no saddle.
Yeah, no saddle, no nothing.
Never rode a horse.
Never once. And I was like, bro, it'll be fine. And I just put the bridle on him, and I always rode with split reins, and he hops up there, and I kind of walk him around, and I was like, you want to ride him around? He goes, yeah. And I said, man, I'll just hop up there with you, and we'll ride him around the pasture. He's like, all right. So I get up there behind him, and I tell him, I said, smooch at Joker, he'll go. So he smooches at him. Well, Joker kind of starts trotting a little bit. Well, if you've never rode, you're not going to ride a trot. And so I tell David, pull back on the reins, David. David was so scared, he didn't pull anything. He just froze up. I was like, David, pull back on the reins, you're falling. And we just start sliding off. He starts sliding off the side of this horse. So I'm like, I'm going to put my arm around David and pull him back up. And that didn't work. It drug us both to the ground in the middle of a mesquite bush.
I was going to say that bush softened it.
All I can hear from David is,
Right.
because he couldn't breathe.
And I was cold. And I mean, it did. It took my breath.
Man, I tell you, I've had some fun times on horses, but I've had some funny stuff happen too. I had one time, I was actually same horse, honestly. Same horse, we were out, I was supposed to be I was working with him in a round pen, and there's a couple horses outside the round pen that I had asked to be put in the adjacent pasture, but it wasn't my property, it wasn't my round pen, it wasn't my horses. The only one that was mine was the one I was in the pen on. And he was fairly new. I think by this point, he had about, I don't know, 13 days under the saddle. For the viewers and listeners that don't know, it takes generally an average of 30 days to get a horse pretty good, you know. And I'm on like, I don't know, day 13 maybe. And he still, you know, had his wolf teeth, still had his manhood. And he'd been bred before I got him. And I'm working with him, and I'm on his back, and I've got him saddled up, and I'm just kind of working him. I'm working on getting him to bend at the pole, which is, for layman's terms, just learning to turn his head. And he already knew how to do that, but I'm just working with him. And I start kind of walking him around the round pen and trotting with him. Well, he's really not paying attention. And I asked for those other horses to be put up again, and the person hanging out there, one of the two people hanging out there that own those horses were like, no, they're fine. And I said, okay. And he starts kind of acting up. So I did what I'd always been taught, which is a right rein stop. You grab a hold of the reins and you pull his head to your boot, and that's supposed to make the horse stop and not act up anymore. I'm here to tell you that does not always work, David. As soon as his nose got just about to my boot, he boom and reared straight up in the air. Well, I knew if I had any chance of him coming back down, I needed to give him his head. So I let go of the reins and let him have his head. And you ever feel like you're falling?
All the time.
That's exactly what I felt. And I was like, oh no, we're going backwards. Well, I pushed off of him because I knew we were going. And he was already on his way down, or on his way over, but when I pushed off, he was straight up in the air. So I pushed off backwards. I landed on my back. And as I rolled, I touched him to my left as I rolled right. And he hit the ground. Well, the two people out there just started screaming. They thought he landed on me. And if he'd have landed on me, he'd have killed me.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least seriously maimed me.
How much does a horse weigh?
It depends on the horse. He probably weighed a good 600.
Oof.
He's a big boy. Probably good. I must say probably good 600-700. Well, I jumped up as he's rolling over, and as he gets rolled over on his belly to try to stand up, I sat in the saddle. So he stood up with me on his back, super confused. Because in his mind, this dude was gone a millisecond ago. I don't know how that. And so he stands up, and I get him to stand still, and I'm super mad, and I'm like, put those other horses in the pasture. So they did, and I had the other person come in, and I'm like, check him out. Is he okay? And they checked him out, and I was like, good, get out of here. And so I ran that dude and ran him. Horses horses, I'm gonna say, are pretty lazy animals, and their stomach they're stomach led. But if they enjoy something, it's like a game to them. They'll have a blast, but they are lazy. And I ran that dude till he was just, I mean, good and lathered up. A good solid run on a horse, you get them running, you get them working, you get them sweating. It's going to look like foam on their body. It's going to look like they got soap all over him. I ran the snot out of him. And very shortly after, we had his manhood taken away and his wolf teeth pulled out. And, man, he turned out to be one of the best horses I ever had. He was a good horse. I took him on his first trail ride. That was day 13. I took him on his first trail ride the next day on day 14.
Oh, man. Have you seen
It was interesting, let me tell you.
Have you seen those? I think they're Spanish, it's South America. What they do with those horses, I think they're black stallions. They do all kinds of tricks with them, like get the horse to walk sideways and they go backwards.
Where they like dance to music? That's called dressage.
Man,
it is super pretty. I think it's really awesome as long as they're doing it without some of the things that they'll put on the horses to make them do that stuff. So there's all kinds of different stuff that they'll put on their
like
feet.
Lotion.
No,
peanut butter.
They've got these special. I don't want to call them shoes because that's not what they're called. It's not a horseshoe, but it goes on their hooves, and they'll start it out when they're young, and they a lot of times leave them there. And they a lot of times leave them there, and when they leave them there, they it hurts them. It's not healthy for them. It'll actually deform their tendons and their muscles and their legs if they're left there long enough. But it holds the horse in such a way that they have to walk a certain way and they have to dance a certain way. I've heard of
pretty sad.
It is. I've heard of all kinds of different things.
It's pretty. Happening. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, I've heard of them doing all kinds of terrible things to these horses to make them do that stuff. Just because there are people that do terrible things to them to make them do that doesn't mean that they all do that.
Right.
But horses, the horse world. There's all kinds of things you can do with horses in the horse world, and horses are pretty unique. Something I think's funny is when you have somebody that says they can ride a horse but they can't.
Right.
And then they meet someone that like me that can and is and will and that's always fun. You put someone on a horse and you find out very quickly that they don't know what they're doing. I one time I took a young lady. I wanted to go on a date with her, so I invited her to the rodeo, and I took one of my horses out there, and she tells me, "Oh, I know how to ride." And I put her on this horse I had out there, and I helped her get up because she couldn't get up by herself, and I thought that was interesting. If you could ride, you should be able to get up there. But okay, because he wasn't a real tall horse. He was only about 14 hands. He wasn't real tall. And so I get her up there. I'm like, all right, well, ride him around a little bit, and here in a little bit when the grand entry happens, we'll just both ride through the grand entry together. And she's like, all right, cool. And then she's sitting there. And I was like, aren't you going to go ride him around? Well, how do you make him go? It's like, what?
Oh, you gotta start him.
Yeah,
you didn't start him?
I was like, just tell him to go. And she goes, all right, little horsey, let's go. And I was like, just smooch at him and go, and he'll move.
Did you turn the key on?
Right, yeah. And so finally I just take off walking. Well, he just starts following me because I'm, horses are smart. He starts following me around, and she's like, why is he following you? I said, because he knows you don't know what you're doing. We did not ride in the grand entry together because I was confident if we got in anything more than a walk, she was going to fall.
Right.
We didn't see each other much past that evening.
I think I would attempt to ride another horse, like a miniature horse.
You're too big to ride a miniature horse.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You could ride a shorter horse. You could ride something shorter than Joker probably, but
I wonder.
Joker was probably 16 hands.
I wonder if I could ride a cow.
There are people that do train cows and bulls to ride.
I'm not talking
I've
bulls.
always wanted to try that.
I don't want to do bulls.
No, I'm serious. Like they train them to ride just like a horse does.
Yeah. I think I watched a video of a guy on a cow. And he was a big old guy too. And I was like, geez.
Dale Brisby rode one in one of his videos he did for social media that I thought was really funny. He was out there trying to push some of them cows and a bull around, and well, you're on a bull, so it ended up pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, makes you think of Paul Bunyan. You
Yeah.
remember Paul Bunyan?
Oh yeah,
And
Babe
Blue.
and the Babe and the big blue ox.
Yeah,
Isn't that what it was? Babe the big blue ox.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude! I've got some interesting stories about stuff like that. I've had some fun times. I've had some good fun times.
So, have you ever rode a donkey?
No, I've never rode a donkey. Now, that being said, there are people that will crossbreed, I do believe, donkeys with horses, and it creates a mule. And mules, I've never got to ride one.
I heard they're like powerhouses.
Well, I've heard they are one of the hardest things in it, like to train and break. But once you do, they're the best. I've been told you will never ride anything but a mule after that. That's what I've been told. I haven't got to try it yet.
My youngest wants a llama,
That's
and
funny.
she wants to ride a llama.
That's hilarious.
And knowing her, she would probably just go over there and talk to it and be best friends.
Well, instead of getting her a llama, because I don't know that you could ride a llama. I don't know. But I mean maybe. But instead of doing that, get her a mammoth jack. It's got the fur.
What is that?
A really big donkey. They're huge. If I'm not mistaken, they get pretty big. Let's see how big they get. I'm gonna use the Google.
For some reason, she's all about llamas.
Let's see. How big does
I got a llama face.
mammoth jack get? Gotta. Oh my gosh, my phone is not operating today.
Nice.
There we go. Mammoth. There we go. It's working now.
It just sounds like an elephant horse.
All right, here we go. So compared to a donkey, they get huge. It says a mammoth jack donkey gets quite large, with official breed standards requiring jacks males to be at least 14.2 hands, which is 58 inches tall at the withers. Also, the withers would be kind of like between their I'm going to call it their shoulder blades for the people that don't understand. But many grow to be 15 to 16 hands or taller, weighing between 900 and 1,200 pounds. Developed in the U.S. for large mule production.
And what is that called?
It's called a mammoth jack.
I'm going to call some coworkers that. You're a mammoth jack.
Let me show you how big a mammoth jack gets. Mammoth jack.
Oh, wow. He is huge. And I mean, he doesn't look different. He looks just like a donkey.
Yep, it's called a mammoth jack.
But just massive.
Yeah, and now they don't all get that big, but they're big. There's another one.
That looks Photoshop.
Right, yeah, because he's so big. But they do. They get pretty tall. And a lot of people don't realize when they hear, 14, 13, 15, 16 hands, they don't know what that means. And so there's a measurement to that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but there's a measurement to it. I can't remember. I know how to measure it with the stick, because they make a stick that measures in hands. Let's see. Let's use the Google one more time.
Well, while you do that, did you know your nose can't be more than 11 inches?
Really? Why is that?
It'd be a foot.
That is
Thank
awesome,
you.
bro.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'll look up that later. I'm not even going to mess with that. I don't remember exactly how many inches it is. I've done it long enough that I don't have to do that. I can just look at it and go, "Oh, that's so many hands," But
Yeah. That's just like,
it doesn't mean I'm right every time. But I can get
as long
close.
as you sound right.
Yeah, be confident.
That's all that matters. Yeah, that's about an 8 hand, about 10 hand. Yeah. That makes me think of old Earl. Earl, he had one that was about 11 hands. Yeah. Big.
I was listening to I think it's Tim Hawkins. I think is who it is. He's a Christian comedian, and he's absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And he's talking about going to church and being nervous about, putting your hands up. And he was like, you're trying to fit in. Still kinds of ways. You can do the dueling light bulbs. And he's got his hands up and he's twisting his hands. He's like, everybody knows the goalpost. Puts his arms straight up in the air. He does all these things. He was like, you got the lyre, and he holds his hands up like he's showing how big a fish is. And he says, then you got the big lyre. He got his hands way out. I was like, that's hilarious.
See, I have one of those. I saw that and I'm like, he didn't say the Johnny Come Lately hands.
Oh yeah.
That's when you're thinking about it. I think I'm gonna put my hands up. And you put your hands up and the song's over and it's like, okay.
You do the smooth back behind the head like you're scratching your head.
Got stretched. That was a good one.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh.
Have you ever like getting on to a kid or you got to sneeze and you're like, but right as you sneeze, like, let us pray, and it gets all quiet. Always feel awkward, when you're in church and you're in a group and a couple of people pray.
Yeah.
And then there's that awkward pause because, it's like someone says amen, and then you're like, do I get up? Do I open my eyes? I don't know.
Right. Or they'll be like, oh, hey, I'm going to pick someone to pray. So-and-so, will you pray for us?
Yeah.
And then when they're praying like this, and nobody can hear them. And you're sitting there, and you don't know if they've said amen. And so you're just kind of hanging out, and you're like,
Right. And they throw, like, the same word 3 or 4 times. It's just like, you're just doing a word salad. Like, we're all hungry. Like, come on. Bless this amazing, great, wonderful food. Like, come on.
I always thought it was funny because it's odd enough. You'd think that you're so most generally people, I'm sure, are comfortable praying with and talking to God and praying privately. But man, anytime they're like, all right, who wants to pray for us? Silence.
Oh, yeah.
There's crickets for so long. And then you have that one poor soul that's finally like, I'll do it. or no, it's been so long that your preacher or whoever's talking has to delegate. And they're like, you know what? You. Don't know your name over there, but...
You know what the other scary part, because everyone is scared when the preacher's like, all right, I want to pick someone, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's when the preacher goes, all right, everyone turn to your left, and everyone's like, oh no, oh no, I don't want to hug. And I gotta look him in the eye, like.
Oh my gosh. I used to have one of the churches I used to go to. There was a preacher. If you started dozing off during church and he caught you, he would he would do one of two things. He would either start kind of walking a little closer to where you were and then get loud, or he would just over the mic get very loud, and he'd be like, and God said,
oh yeah,
and you'd wake up.
I remember the church I grew up in. It was like the coolest preacher / dad move.
Right.
So he's preaching and his daughter was acting up. She was running around and like slapping people. And he's just preaching and whack. And he kept on preaching. And he got right up to her, spanked her, set her down. And he didn't miss a beat or anything. He was just smooth through the whole thing. Like that didn't just happen.
Dude, do you remember growing up and you'd be sitting in church and you're sitting there and you're not, and looking back now as a parent, I get it. But also as a parent, man, they're 10.
Oh yeah.
or they're 11 or they're 9. So trying to make them sit still for an hour or 2 hours with nothing to do. What do you think's going to happen? So but they're sitting there, you're sitting there, and the preacher's going, You start talking to your cousin or your brother or whatever, and you're talking.
You hear the creak.
Yeah.
You hear them lean forward.
And then you're like, oh no.
Oh
God.
Here's the heat. I could feel
Yeah.
it burning behind me.
You get the super quiet. If you don't stop right now. And in your mind, you're like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. And then the other part of you says, you're not going to do anything in here.
And that's when my stepdad would just lean over and, do we need to go to the bathroom?
Right, yeah.
No, sir. No,
Yeah.
sir. Like we knew what that meant. We're not going to that bathroom. We're going outside and we're going to be we're going to be praying.
There's nothing like your parents taking you outside, giving you a whooping, and then telling you stop crying because we got to go back in the church.
Try it up. I didn't hit you that hard, kid.
Right. Well, and see, that's why, I think it's important that churches have the good youth programs.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want your kid acting up in the middle of church service. That's not cool, man. Don't get me wrong. I want your kid to learn about God. I want you to learn about God. I want everybody there to learn about God. But it's kind of hard for everybody there to learn about God when your kid's sitting there getting real loud and la la la. There's youth programs for a reason, so those kids can themselves learn about God, and they can learn about God in a way that they understand, and it gives the older people, and I say older people, I don't mean old folks, I mean adults and young adults, a chance to sit in the service and say, oh, all right, now I'm listening. And you'll have some teenagers in our service that want to sit through the service even, because they're like, I really want to get into this.
What's really cool about our youth group is they take up the first two rows of seats.
Yeah.
I think that's just awesome.
I do too.
And I'm like that. They're more brave than I am. I never sung. I still don't. I say watermelon. I look like I'm singing. And the only reason I pretend I'm singing is I want my kids to pay attention and not be slapping each other or anything like, hey, we're singing,
Yeah.
But I know what I sound like, and I'm like, I don't want to make people cry.
That's all right. It is what it is. I think it's good to see people in church. I think it's good to see the youth in church. And there's so many funny stories I'm sure we could all tell about church.
Right.
But on that note, speaking of church, David, would you like to pray us out, brother?
Right now?
Right now?
Yeah. Do the awkward pause.
You're right. Yeah, we got to do the awkward pause.
Let's hold hands. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for our country. Thank you for our president. Thank you for our leaders. Please be with the law enforcement. Just protect them and let them do what is right in your eyes, Lord. And thank you for this week. Thank you for our lives, Lord. In your name, amen.
Amen.